If I want to feel my joy, joy is one of the four feelings, the core feelings: anger, fear, sadness, joy. I can't have one of them and not the other three. So if I want to feel joy, I also need to embrace what am I scared, sad, glad about as well. And also those that carry and hold the information. What I'm really angry about is also what I really care about, what's super important for me. What I'm scared about is what I need to create.
Hello, everyone. And I'm Tarisha, and today I want to talk to Sybille Biedert. And she's going to be presenting at Shakti Shiva Festival. And she's trained in open flow movement. And she's a teacher, she's a life coach, and she helps people to focus on emotional literacy and embodiment. So we're going to be talking about what does it mean to actually be embodied. And she's really skilled in empowering people with practical life tools. So I hope today she might share some practical life tools. And if you want to have more of Sybille, you can come to the Shakti Shiva Festival, where she's going to be teaching a couple of workshops. And also the piece that Sybille that I really want to talk to you about is that you help people to connect the physical, emotional, mental, and energetic body. And that's, sounds it's a big piece of work. So I wonder what you mean by that. And yeah, welcome. So happy to talk to you today. So
Yeah.
maybe if
If
you can tell us, Sybille, like how did you come to do this work? Just say a couple of things about yourself so people can connect to you.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me in here, and thank you for being here. I feel joy coming to the Shiva Shakti Festival soon. The festival season has started, and yeah, it'd be my first time coming to Auckland. Your question, yeah, it's a big body of work. And about me, beside doing this work, I'm also a mom of teenagers. I'm very passionate about multi-generations, very passionate about young adults. And it's a big motivation. What keeps making me grow, also spending time with them keeps making me keeping young. And I live in community, so I've had a lot of community experiences living here for 20 years.
Wow.
And yeah, and there's this really deep passion about community living, where I really have sensed that there is something else that is so much bigger than the individual when people live together, and the power of group intelligence.
And so I wonder, how did you come to do the dance in the embodiment? Is it through a personal journey?
Yes. Yes. For me, it's like I started moving from a really young age. So I remember still dancing in my cellar as a teenager, just to heavy metal, trying to what the fuck was going on? What is going on in the world? And just using that as a tool from a really young age. And when I grew older, I wanted to find other ways of movement. And I actually started with holding aerobic, and then dance aerobic, and then hip hop. And then came across 5 rhythms, and the journey continued until I found open flow movement practice. And then in the last 6 years, adding the modality of possibility management on top, mostly through my own kind of pain. I got, my family broke up. We went through a big breakup time, and I had a lot of emotion. Yeah, a lot of personal stuff going on. And so I found this other modality that was really dealing with and holding space for emotional literacy, and how to be with the level of feeling and emotions that were alive for me. And because I was already holding space for open floor workshops, I just added it into my offerings, and it became this fusion of community, open floor, possibility management, and everything else I've experienced over the years growing teenagers. And yeah, that's what embodied freedom kind of became through that.
That's really cool. And I wonder, what is this possibility management? So that's not the movement practice, huh?
No.
That's something quite different. And you somehow weave it out with the movement.
Yeah, so in possibility management, normally there isn't like movement in the way how I have added it, and there isn't anyone else who has kind of explored it in this sort of a way. And possibility management is really, it's an initiation into adulthood, kind of ongoingly initiative processes to really be a radical alive fully here person that is really stepping into adulthood, taking responsibility beyond self and really for the wider and for, yeah, really being here and creating way beyond survival. And the main piece that also for me comes together with movement and possibility management is the deep belief that I carry and also have seen in people that feelings are resources. We don't have feelings to just have them, like nature doesn't make mistakes like this. We have feelings for reasons. They are our main resource to navigate life, to, sorry, my voice, to move forward and to get the information. What is my next step? What is my anger, fear, sadness, joy telling me? And really being with this as energy and information to navigate life. So that's kind of the, just bring that through movement and through processes and through sharings and in many different ways.
Yeah, because quite often now we put like when we like the good emotions and feelings, but not the bad ones, as we call them bad,
Yes.
push them away.
Yes.
And what I
Yes.
find is when we push the anger, the sadness away, then we can't have as much joy and as much fulfillment. They kind of go together.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So if I want to feel my joy, joy is one of the four feelings, the core feelings, anger, fear, sadness, joy. I can't have one of them and not the other three. So if I want to feel joy, I also need to embrace what am I scared, sad, glad about as well. And also those carry and hold the information. What I'm really angry about is also what I really care about, what's super important for me. What I'm scared about is what I need to create.
For someone who is listening, like what would be the first step for them to start listening to their emotions?
The first step is anger. The anger creates the safe space where if I can feel my anger, I create an inner structure and a safe space for me to feel the other feelings. So anger is often the first feeling. Like if you open a drawer, everyone has this drawer in their house, everyone. The drawer that has a million cables in and the iPod cable and everything is like somewhere in there, and you start pulling on one cable and all of them come out. So anger is the first one. Anger creates the space, the structure for the other feelings to come. So I work a lot with introduction to what we call Rage Club, conscious anger, to really allow to have a voice and to allow ourselves to feel again after most of us are quite numb, and especially anger has so much stigma of being not welcome because it's been used unconsciously so much. And yet it has so much fire and passion and boundaries and clarity. So yeah, like my recommendation is to start with that because that creates the space to be able to meet.
I love the rage clubs.
Yes.
And with that, right? Because like when I work with people, what I hear them say, well, I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt someone or people are gonna stop loving me. If I really tap into my anger, there's real fear around it. So what can you tell
Yeah.
about that?
Yes. So this is exactly why to practice it. So in Rage Club, we all learn to calibrate our anger and to learn first to really also get to know this energy, but then also to become aware, when am I actually feeling it in low levels, which is what happens in life. So, but first that muscle needs to be trained again to kind of wake up. And because we're doing it in a group, everyone brings it up and brings it down. It is all about exactly that, learning how to calibrate it, getting to know it, finding really this wild energy in each of ourselves. And yeah, and really being in a responsible space where it's conscious and where it's a really listening space of what is really going on, and a practice. And also as a group where the understanding that anger is bad is so big that practicing in a group with other people and getting the seed of like, oh wow, actually this is welcome here. It starts changing something and becomes from unconscious into conscious
Beautiful.
energy.
And it's like, it's kind of not being overwhelmed by it, right? Because when people get overwhelmed, and then that can be destructive. But actually, when it's conscious, and I'm actually can moderate it, And I
Yes.
remember when I went to India and we had one workshop where for 3 hours we were just expressing anger in a kind of in a small space. We had to scream at each other. And I remember in the beginning, it was so scary and I was crying and I was like, get me out of here. But with time, I really started to feel the energy as passion. And then I only wanted to scream with people
Yes.
that I like because was, wow,
Yes.
this energy is so amazing. It's so pure. It's so beautiful. And I could
Yes.
never, if I didn't go through the experience, like you can't think your way through it. And I think that's where your work comes in, that we can't
Yes.
think about it. We just need
No.
to experience it, because when I tell the story, people are like, really? But I just remember how powerful. And I feel like that's what kind of really changed the direction of my life, that experience.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And exactly that. And it comes back to that this feeling is a resource, not something to suppress. And what you just talked about, overwhelm. Overwhelm is really when I mix it, when I mix my anger with my fear and my sadness, and neither of them can really feel. So that's when feelings actually become emotions and they get stored instead of really able to be moving. If I feel my anger purely, then I have the clarity of what needs to happen, or I can really express something that is going on for me if I do it responsibly, which would be I feel really angry because, it's my anger. It's not anyone else's anger. It runs through me, and I can listen to someone else's clear anger, what they feel angry about, and I can also decode it because in that I can hear what they really care about, and that is even beyond if it's very responsibly expressed or not. Someone is caring about something really precious.
I
And
love
yeah,
it, huh? It's like it's you're caring about it. It's precious, and that's why the anger is there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. So yeah, like this is totally what I'm passionate about. And this is also why I created with some other women, we created spaces called Radically Alive, where a whole bunch of young women were there last year in November and we're raged and really taking a stand of what needs to happen in the world to make the changes. And it starts with me. It starts with each individual of first really doing my own work, clearing up my own messes of where am I, yeah, in survival, and what healing do I need to do with my feelings and emotions, and how can I practice to really listen to this resource, and also my intuition, which is connected to my conscious fear. So it's all the different ways of being, and very much that's what the authenticity compass is about. So the workshop that I'll be doing at Shiva Shakti is really an introduction to those full feelings, and to get to know a bit this, like, what does it actually feel like? Sadness is connected to the healer and the community weaver. And anger is to the warrior, the, the fear is connected to the magician, the witch, and really in getting a taster of those full feelings and how they relate, and how do I relate in community when I am feeling those full feelings. So it's the small introduction to into that's why I call it authenticity compass, because it's like my feelings give me the clarity of when I'm being authentic or when I'm fake and I'm bullshitting and I'm trying to be something or trying to be nice, and it's not really real because I'm not really feeling.
Beautiful, huh? So it's, and you talk about the purity of the feelings, huh? Yeah.
Yes.
So kind of experiencing them in their purity. And that's how the messages come through. It's when it's all mixed up, that's when we get
Yes.
confused.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all like, and confusion is another form of anger, of mixing feelings, and then nothing can move and I get stuck. Same as depression.
And another
Or
place like it's
uh, yeah. Yes. So right now, for example, I'm using like 6% of conscious anger to project my voice to really create presence. So that's what we're going to talk about. And the embodied being workshop that I would be holding also at Shiva Shakti has a bit more connection to self. So it's really about creating a being space, a more quiet, internally connective space, which is always the first step before I can really connect. Before I can connect with anyone else, I need to be in connection with myself and my own being. So we were before talking about the four bodies. So in embodied being, I will be focusing on really allowing people to come fully into their physical body through the movement and also through some exercises. And then also awakening up the emotional body, getting to know what's happening in my mental body and checking where is my energetic body, because the energetic body travels out and is busy with everything else. So it's really taking the time to bringing all these bodies together so that I can be in an embodied being alive space and really be
Yeah,
here.
so you got the movement out that you do the center. It's kind of coming to your
Yeah.
center, grounding yourself. Huh? And
Yes.
I wonder maybe because we use the embodiment words kind of as a everyone knows what it means, but actually, what is your explanation? What is actually embodiment?
Yeah. So I have find many different ways of describing, and the main piece is like embodiment can't really be described because it's an experience.
Terrible.
Right. So when I'm really in all of these bodies, like in I'm consciously connected to what's going on in my mental body, and I'm anchoring it in my physical body. I can feel my feelings, all my emotions are, I can sense them, and it's connected to my center, to the middle of my body. It's a centered, alive experience of really being here in a very small, what I call like a small now, like this moment. I'm not out there. I'm not planning. I'm not with anyone else that is something out there. I'm not writing my supermarket shopping list, whatever. All parts of me are in here, embodied in this physical form, being here and connecting fully. And it's a purer level of presence. So it's basically embodiment is practicing presence to, and I use the music and the soundscapes and connection to really allow people to do that. And why I find embodiment as a movement practice so empowering is because there isn't an agenda. There's like, as soon as people start moving and they don't know how to move, they don't know what they're not going to do next. There is no instructions. There is really the spaciousness of arriving. And that really allows embodiment arriving to happen in the moment.
Beautiful. Huh? Yeah. And that's the piece that you talk about. Just what's important that we all miss connection, but actually we miss it because we're not quite here. There's no
Yeah.
one to connect with.
Yes, exactly, exactly. This is really like I can search out there and I want to connect with you and you and you and whatever. And if I'm not here, if I have not taken the time to feel my feet, to be in my center, which can be also just a mental practice. Okay, I'm gonna try to be present now, and it just doesn't work. So it's really having to do the work and training the muscle of embodied presence, and that's
Then I can
what we're
connect.
gonna do. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can see people, right? When people like, if we're just here, the energy is right here, right in the head. And then when we go down into the heart, and then when we go down, right, into sexuality, into legs, into feet, it's quite a different experience of how we're in the body and the other person, like the feeling is different.
And the another part of embodiment, and I guess on some level the music really helps with that, is it is a place without stories.
Mm.
So the stories also most of the time connect us to the mental body, which then makes our energy goes outside there. So energetic body travels out, like through the music and through the presence that's coming together in a group intelligence, which is again what I feel so inspired by, because there's something else that happens when people come together with the main purpose to be present and practice presence and engage with each other. It also, now I lost my thread. Felt distracted, but that's yeah, I lost it. It was something about
Yeah, but it's that the presence and the connection and how we can actually, when we're together, there's the power. I love group work. I've just finished my
yeah,
master's thesis on group work. How
yes,
when we're by ourselves, it's more difficult, but with the group energy, we bring it together and we can drop into that space of deep presence and connection much quicker.
yeah. And it is that purpose. Like, oh yeah, I was wanting to relate to stories. Like that level of connection that is available outside while I'm making connection with myself and the music on top and the offerings and the held space really gives a space where stories that are usually taking up so much space in our systems can just be dropped. And I have so many people who come to my 5 days retreats or whatever. They go outside and they go like, wow, say, oh, I had a full break of all this background radio noise that goes on all the time. And then it brings up a lot of feelings for people when they go outside and go like, no, no, no. But because the stories connect to the emotions. So then it brings all this kind of like, yeah, stuff that's been paused back in, and then how to be with that without losing this level of embodiment and presence I've just created in myself.
And I find then the colors are bright. I was like, "Oh, the trees are so green. The sky is so blue."
Yeah, everything is more beautiful if I'm in connection. And the difficult part of that is if I want to be in connection, I have to ongoingly be willing to let go and ongoingly willing to listen and to slow down and to really be with what's really happening here ongoingly, and to be able to admit and really own the bullshit that I'm saying and the pretending and the fakeness, because all the fakeness, all of that takes me out of my authenticity, takes me out of my feeling bodies. So yeah, so that's a lot what I'm about. I'm quite bold. I'm quite radical. I bring things that people are totally go like, whoa. So it's not for the total. It's really for people who are ready to do something different and to want to experience something different.
Well,
Yeah.
there's power in it. I know that's what I feel from you. There's power in confidence and kind of like sit until it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, because also I move with this, like it's time. Like there is like it's so important that and that's what I stand for. It's so important that community, that people can experience themselves again in community. It's so important that the women come together and really support each other. And it's like the world needs to wake up. And I'm just one small person traveling and offering doors to feel, so that once people can feel and they can't be numb to what is going on, then they are naturally in the place of wanting to make the changes that each individual can make. So this is kind of my mission that moves me. And I want
And
to
well,
just,
and we're doing
yeah,
it together, right? That's the
yeah,
whole pitch.
yeah,
Actually doing it together.
totally. As a community. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for that, we need to reconnect and find, like, first connect here, then connect with each other and rebuild this network of that we're not in competition, comparing. We're all on the team of wanting to, yeah, with Gaia and take care of what is needed and what really matters.
Love your passion. And I wonder, Sybille, if you just tune in to listeners, whoever is listening, like, what is it? What can you tell them? Like, what's kind of last word, last message to them?
Yeah. If you have a moment today, give yourself the time to actually, if you have someone close by, go and meet them and allow yourself to lower your numbness in the way of really checking in, opening the door inside, and share with someone else, what do you feel angry, sad, glad, and scared about? And it brings so much intimacy. So the formula for that is like, I feel angry because I haven't made enough time today to connect. I feel scared because I have so much to do and I really want to connect within. I feel sad because I keep losing this beautiful being that lives inside me and the love I have for life. And I'm glad because I'm right now taking time to do that. So for feelings check-in is like magic. And we will do that in the authenticity compass and also dive deeper into that in the workshop that I'm actually offering straight after Shiva Shakti at the same venue, which I'm really glad. My first Auckland gig, proper Auckland embodied intimacy exploration.
Oh. Well, thank you so much, Sybille. I'm definitely going to come to your workshop. I hope we're not clashing.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So too, because I'd like to come to yours.
And thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we hope to see you at Shiva Shakti Festival. And yeah, so nice to be here with you, Sybille. And I went last year to Shiva Shakti Festival, and it was such a beautiful coming together place. really looking forward to being there again. And I hope to see you there. Come and say hi to us if you're there.
Yeah.
Bye.